San Francisco is for lovers, but it's also for families. And if you've got the under 12 set in tow, keep watching for my recommendations on experiencing San Francisco with kids. In this 7x7 playground we call San Francisco, the kid offerings aren't many, but they're money. Let's kick it off with an old-time locals favorite, Exploratorium.
This is an interactive science and technology museum, and it's so rad, I think it's even going to blow the minds of adults. It used to be located in the Palace of Fine Arts, but several years ago, it moved to its new home on Piers 15 and 17. It now has more space for its over 600 experiments on physics, biology, art, environmental sciences, engineering, and more.
We're going to walk about 10 minutes north of here to the #1 tourist attraction because, well, if you're from out of town, this is probably tops on your to-see list. Most adults will find Fisherman's Wharf kitschy, but in fact, it's the perfect neighborhood for touring with kids. So let's start at Pier 39.
This is considered the center of Fisherman's Wharf. The entire pier is a huge shopping district developed in the late 1970s by Warren Simmons, who incidentally was also founder of Chevy's Tex-Mex. The Simmons family still runs several of the restaurants here, including the popular Fog Harbor Fish House. Aside from shopping and eating, there are a couple of other minor attractions. Aquarium of the Bay, 7D Experience, and the Flyer virtual reality rides. McGowan's Infinite Mirror Maze, a carousel, a drop ride, and musical stairs.
In the 90s, sea lions took up residence here off the docks, and they are a major, although super smelly attraction. If you want to learn more about them, Pier 39 has set up a sea lion education center, which is free to walk through. Feeling peckish? Across the street is Boudin Bakery.
Sharing a bread bowl of clam chowder is a must here at Fisherman's Wharf. But personally, I'm not big on the clam chowder here at Boudin, so if you don't like it, skip it. You should definitely, though, sample their legendary sourdough. If you take a swing through their sourdough museum upstairs, they've got free samples. And kids will be fascinated by the big kitchen where bakers prep the dough and shape it into incredible animals before baking.
If your bellies are full, let's cross Embarcadero to Musée Mécanique.
This is a small private museum filled with antique coin-operated arcade games and machines. The owner, Edward Zielinski, began this collection when he was 11.
Musée Mécanique is open 365 days a year and is free. Now, see this behind me? The most underrated attractions here are all of the historic boat museums. Here off Pier 45, there are 2 of them, just across from Musée Mécanique. You've got the USS Pomponido, a World War II submarine, and just down the dock there is the USS Jeremiah O'Brien, a Liberty ship that stormed the beaches of Normandy during World War II. If you head another 15 minutes down Fisherman's Wharf at Hyde Pier are the historic ships at Aquatic Park.
There are 6 still seaworthy vessels here from the turn of the 20th century. The Balclutha, C.A. Thayer, Eureka, Alma, Hercules, and Appleton Hall. For the admission fee of $15, you can board and explore any one of them. Lucky school kids here in the Bay Area, like my son Tyler, can take live-aboard field trips on the Balclutha, where they role-play as salty sailors and experience history firsthand.
To cap off a very full day, head across the field to share a ginormous sundae at the original Ghirardelli chocolate factory at Ghirardelli Square.
Ghirardelli Square is now a city landmark, but the official manufacturing plant is in San Leandro. Here, you can get their famous hot fudge sundaes, see a demo of their bean-to-bar chocolate processing methods, and buy some gifts.
Film buffs will love the next 2 kid-friendly activities in neighboring Presidio National Park. Located just off the main parade ground within spitting distance of the Golden Gate Bridge is the Walt Disney Family Museum.
This is a vastly underrated gem that was founded by Walt Disney's daughter, Diane Disney Miller. A lot of the exhibits are from her personal collection of Walt Disney's memorabilia, so what's charming is it's not the corporatized version of Disney you're getting here. There are about 10 galleries that take you through a biographical tour of Walt the person, starting with his pre-Disney career, the development of the famous characters, and the growth of an empire, all liberally interspersed with personal photos and artifacts from family life.
If that totally blew your child's mind, let's come full circle with Disney's latest property, Star Wars.
Just a 10-minute walk through the Presidio are the Lucasfilm offices on Letterman Drive. Keeping in mind that this is a place of business, respectfully, feel free to browse through their lobby area, which is chock-a-block full of Star Wars memorabilia. Make sure you come during business hours to get in. This at one point was planned to be the central campus for Lucasfilm, but they very quickly outgrew the facilities and moved everything down to LA. So nowadays, it's mostly a skeleton crew here.
Pro tip. From here, you're just a stone's throw away from Marina and Pacific Heights, and this is the perfect opportunity to catch Palace of Fine Arts, Golden Gate Bridge, Crissy Beach, the Line Street Steps, and shopping on Union and Chestnut Streets. Just south of the Presidio is Golden Gate Park, which is pretty much a giant playground for kids, and number 2 on my list for must-see family attractions. We're gonna start here on the east end of the park and work our way west. Pro tip, back over there is the edge of Haight-Ashbury in case you want to orient yourself.
First up, Corrette Playground. Younger kids will love this massive playground, which has several play structures, including long, winding concrete slides.
Adjacent to the park, there is an antique carousel from 1914 in case your kids want to take a couple of spins. It costs $1 for a kid and $2 for an adult ride. And as you can see, it's not open right now because it's only open on weekends, Friday through Sundays. Heading further into the park, the number 1 most popular children's museum is the California Academy of Sciences.
Technically, this is 4 museums rolled into one: the Kimball Natural History Museum, Steinhardt Aquarium, Osher Rainforest Biome, and Morrison Planetarium. So there's a huge variety of exhibits to keep your little ones occupied for a very long time. I've covered the museum highlights in this video here on Golden Gate Park in the winter, if you'd like a more in-depth view. And here's a quick preview.
Oh, one last thing before we move on. We're gonna hop across the concourse here to get one of the best bird's eye views of the Golden Gate Park.
Tucked inside the DeYoung Museum is the Hammond Observation Tower, and it's free. Once you enter the museum, bypass the ticket counter to the elevator lobby behind it. And when you get to the top, voila!
Right over there, can you see that? That little glint of water off in the distance there? That's our next destination.
In the center of the park is Stowe Lake. On nice days, when there's no fog, you can take a slow swing around the lake. The paddle boats are great for easy cruising, but if you're up for a challenge, your family would love being tooled around in a rowboat. There's no tide, so should be easy rowing, and you'll get your exercise in for the day. When you reach the northeast side of the lake near the Chinese Pavilion, pull out your binoculars and look for the large Monterey cypress in the middle of Heron Island. In the topmost branches is a flock of great blue herons on top of their nests. Later in the spring, you can see their fledglings. Reward yourself afterwards with an It's It San Francisco Original ice cream sandwich at the boathouse. Old-fashioned ice cream sandwiched in between 2 oatmeal cookies and dipped in dark chocolate. Good. On the eastern side of the park, there are a bunch of small, cooler attractions. Let's start off at Spreckles Lake, home of the Model Boating Club. Most days, the Irregulars, as they call themselves, a group of model boat enthusiasts, are out on the water taking their motorboats for a spin.
But it's kind of a hit or miss, so let's walk over to the bison paddock.
The Golden Gate Park has had American bison since the 1890s. The best spot to view them is next to the dog park here, but you can get this landscape view from John F. Kennedy Drive, which I recommend you do first in order to locate them. Most of the original bulls and cows were retired from places like Yellowstone Park. The current herd here are descended from bison gifted to the park in 1984 by Senator Dianne Feinstein and her husband in celebration of her birthday. Fun fact, they're all female cows to limit aggressive behavior.
Golden Gate Park ends right here at Ocean Beach, and this is where we'll end our tour.
Try to time it so you get here right at dusk. Snag a fire pit as you watch the sun set. There's a Safeway grocery store blocked down for firewood and marshmallows in order to do your s'mores.
And this is also the perfect place to end this video. I think I'm going to stay here for a while, so I'll catch you in the next video. Peace. If that information was valuable to you, please help me make it available to more people. Subscribe by hitting that red subscribe button down below, or like the video by hitting the thumbs up icon. Thanks so much.